Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. Surfline forecaster Matt Kibbe here with a mid-morning surf check along the west coast of California as a fresh round of very large west-northwest swell fills in, already showing very strongly through northern and even down into central California with SoCal spots just getting started. Going to be using our nifty multicam viewing tool today, which lets us get a view of several spots at once. You can pick up to 9 cameras regardless of region to get an idea of what the surf looks like at spots that you want to surf. And we forecasters love using this one as it gives us a pretty good idea of how the surf looks like at any given region without having to click through a bunch of different pages. Starting up north, we have Ocean Beach, San Francisco in the top left here. Already very solid with easily triple overhead surf and seeing some light offshore flow linger into the later morning, but unfortunately they are dealing with a climbing tide that is swamping the surf out a bit, as well as some patchy fog that is making it hard to see, which is a bit sketchy given how much size is showing out there. The tide does turn back around just after midday with even more size showing, but wind is due to veer light onshore for some added surface texture, but should stay calm enough to keep surf relatively manageable. Don't say that lightly, keeping in mind that this amount of size is pretty dangerous even under the most ideal conditions up there, which we will not have on tap this afternoon. That top middle frame there is Mavericks. I've been dealing with some fog this morning. There have been some nice waves peeking through that fog and even some windows of clear skies, enough so that we have gotten a glimpse of a handful of boats and surfers out there in the lineup. Been seeing some faces in the 25 to 30 foot range, with larger ones likely rolling through at times. Light easterly wind first thing in the morning that have started to trend more to the south and are expected to pick up out of the south-southwest for the afternoon, though may ease in the late afternoon and into the evening as the tide drops off further. Santa Cruz is showing its fair share of size this morning, as indicated by steamer lane up there in the top right, but conditions are difficult as easterly wind and a rising tide has combined for some pretty junky conditions. That wind is expected to ease through the back half of the day as the tide falls off, with the later afternoon shaping up to be your best shot at cleaner conditions, with the tide getting down to more favorable levels and the latter wind through town, hopefully cleaning off some of that bump late today. Heading further down the central coast, spots through San Luis Obispo, like Pismo there in the middle left frame, are also pumping, though many of the beach breaks are pretty overloaded with overhead to well overhead surf, so you probably want to target a spot with some structure or that is out of the way of the swell's direct path for your best shot at getting some better shape. Wind is still very light through that area and is expected to stay pretty light for the afternoon as a light onshore sea breeze picks up and the tide drops back down. Spots through SoCal have seen improvements since first light, particularly at winter focal points through Ventura, the South Bay, and South San Diego, where larger sets have started pushing slightly to even well overhead at a couple of select spots. A bit slower through North LA and down through Orange County, but even a select few long period focal points through those areas, especially in North Orange County, have started to push head high to a bit overhead. Winds are finally starting to trend more light variable for most SoCal spots after seeing pretty widespread light offshore flow first thing this morning. And the onshore sea breeze for this afternoon is expected to stay pretty light, with the tide starting to turn back around late morning and into the afternoon, leaving opportunity to grab some larger surf as that tide does get back down to more favorable levels. More widespread surf in the chest to head high to even slightly overhead zone due for those lesser exposed winter spots through out west in North LA and even into Orange County, while those Ventura, South LA, and South San Diego standouts see well overhead to even double overhead surf show before the end of the day. Be sure to stay tuned to the storm feed as well as your respective regional forecast pages for all the latest forecast updates. Hopefully you can score some waves today if you haven't already, or at the very least enjoy the show from the cams. Do be safe out there and use good judgment if you find yourself staring down some exceptionally larger surf, as there are plenty of waves rolling in today and there will be more tomorrow that you'll want to take advantage of as this run of west-northwest swell continues.